Aliens mistakenly called humanity for aid, and an armada arrived HFY. The air buzzed with energy, and the strange creatures that lived there moved quickly, their translucent wings catching the sunlight in patterns no human could imagine. On this world, life had grown clever and delicate, but nothing could prepare the Korathi for the sudden disaster that struck that morning. Zara, a young Korathi scientist, was in the council tower when the alarms began. The energy storm had formed faster than any forecast had predicted. It was a massive surge of raw power, capable of destroying the floating cities and even the natural landscapes that the Korathi had worked so hard to preserve. She blinked rapidly, her 4 eyes adjusting to the flashing lights that warned of imminent destruction. "Council, the storm is growing. It will hit the central city in less than 10 cycles," her assistant, Rylan, shouted. His voice trembled, even though Korathi were trained to remain calm in emergencies. Zara shook her head. "We cannot stop it ourselves. We need help quickly." The Korathi had allies, the Yalari, a species of beings known for their advanced technology. Sending a request to them was the natural choice. The council had done this countless times in the past, and usually the Yalari answered within hours. But this time, something went wrong. Unseen by Zara or anyone else, a misalignment in the subspace coordinates sent the distress signal far off course. Instead of reaching the Yalari, the signal shot across the galaxy and ended up on a small blue planet called Earth. On Earth, Commander Daniel Hayes was in the bridge of the human exploration vessel Odyssey. The ship was part of Earth's growing fleet of interstellar explorers. Humans had been slowly expanding into nearby star systems, learning about new planets, but direct contact with alien life had remained rare. Daniel leaned over the console as a strange signal appeared on the screen. It wasn't like any human transmission he had seen before. It pulsed in irregular patterns, carrying a sense of urgency that made the hair on his arms stand up. "Claire," he called to his pilot, Claire Foster, "look at this. It's not coming from a natural source. It's a message, but I can't decode it fully." Claire came over, her short brown hair bouncing as she moved. "Do you think it's a distress call? Could it be another human ship?" Liam Bennett, the communications officer, shook his head. "No, the frequency is off. It doesn't match any human technology. I think it's alien." Daniel's heart beat faster. First contact. This was what humanity had trained for, what everyone dreamed about. But first contact also came with risks. The humans did not know if the sender was friendly, dangerous, or even capable of understanding them. He took a deep breath. "Let's respond. Carefully. Keep it formal. Identify ourselves and offer assistance if needed." Minutes passed as Liam crafted a reply in multiple layers, including universal mathematical patterns, simple chemical signals, and energy pulses meant to show intelligence. Then they sent it back along the path of the mysterious signal. Back on Nurith, Zara's eyes widened as her console beeped. The response had arrived almost instantly. She had expected the Yalari, but this was different. "They are not Yalari," she muttered. She had seen many species across the galaxy in her studies, but this species was entirely unknown. Their energy patterns were strange, unlike any other recorded life. Rylan frowned. "Are they dangerous?" Zara shook her head slowly. "I do not know. But if they are capable of responding this quickly, and with such clarity, maybe they can help us." The council chamber was in chaos. Korathi leaders hovered and moved in a dizzying pattern, discussing possibilities. Their species had advanced technology, but energy storms of this magnitude were beyond anything they had seen. The floating cities, powered by delicate energy matrices, were at risk of collapse. Finally, the council leader, an older Korathi named Mael, spoke. His voice carried calm authority. "We have called for help and help has come. We cannot refuse it. Even if this species is unknown, it may be the only chance to save Nurith." Zara nodded. "We must prepare to receive them, but we do not know their customs. We do not know their motives." Meanwhile, in the human fleet, Daniel studied the incoming data from the alien world. The surface of Nurith was breathtaking. Floating cities shimmered like jewels over purple oceans. Massive crystal towers grew naturally from the land, glowing faintly with energy. He could see that the planet was fragile. The storm could destroy entire cities within hours. "We need to act fast," Daniel said, tension in his voice. "If that storm hits while we are still figuring things out, millions of lives could be lost. We have to go." Claire and Liam nodded. They had trained for emergency landings and first contact protocols, but nothing could truly prepare someone for seeing an alien world for the first time. The Odyssey's engines roared, and soon the ship was breaking through the atmosphere of Nerith. The humans could feel the energy of the storm as static electricity filled the air. The sky was a strange mix of green and purple, and lightning streaked through the clouds with power unlike anything on Earth. On the surface, Zara watched the approaching ships. Her four eyes could hardly believe what she was seeing. Hundreds of vessels moved in perfect formation, landing with precision near the central city. Humans, she realized, had arrived. They were fast, organized, and calm. Not one of them panicked. In the Korathi records, other species had arrived in similar emergencies, but many had been slow, fragile, or too cautious. These humans moved as if the storm were part of their natural environment. "Commander," Zara said to her assistant, "we must meet them. We must see if they can truly help us." The human delegation, led by Daniel, was already preparing to disembark. They were wearing light protective suits designed to handle different atmospheres, but it was their confidence that set them apart. Even as the storm raged around them, they moved with purpose. When Daniel stepped onto the surface, he felt the gravity was slightly stronger than Earth's, but he adjusted quickly. He looked at the Korathi around him. They were fragile-looking, with long limbs and translucent skin, but their expressions showed intelligence and worry. Zara stepped forward. "You are humans," she said slowly, testing the language she had learned from the signal. "Yes," Daniel replied, "we are." "We received your message. We want to help," the Korathi gasped. Their message had been meant for a different species. They had never expected humans to arrive, and yet here they were ready to act. Zara felt a mixture of fear and hope. Could these humans really save their world? She watched Daniel as he scanned the energy storm with his instruments, noting patterns and calculating solutions. Unlike the fragile Yelari who might have hesitated, Daniel's team was already forming a plan. "We must trust them," Mael said, hovering above the council floor. "If they are here, it is fate. They may be the only chance Nerith has." The humans, meanwhile, were not worried about politics or protocols. They were focused on the task at hand. Claire checked the storm readings, Liam monitored communications, and Daniel worked with Zara to understand the energy flows. It was strange for both species, one built on speed, precision, and adaptability, the other on careful planning and delicate technology. Yet somehow they began to communicate, sharing knowledge in ways that were new to both. Hours passed, and the storm grew stronger. The humans moved with skill and courage that even the Korathi had never seen. Daniel directed drones, set up energy barriers, and calculated ways to stabilize the storm cores. Zara could hardly keep up, but she followed his instructions carefully. "I have never seen anyone work like this," she whispered to Rylan. They think differently, faster. Smarter, they do not panic, they adapt," Rylan nodded. "They may be our salvation, but they are also dangerous, not in a bad way, but in a way we cannot control." Daniel noticed her looking at him and smiled gently. "We are just trying to help," he said. "If we succeed, maybe everyone can survive." The first lightning strike hit near a crystal tower, sending shards of energy into the air. Humans and Korathi both flinched, but Daniel did not hesitate. He directed a drone to absorb the energy, rerouting it safely into the ocean. The Korathi watched, astonished. Their calculations could never have done that. The storm raged all night, but Daniel and his team worked without pause. Each success brought hope. Each challenge only strengthened their resolve. By the end of the first cycle, it was clear to Zara that humanity was not like any other species she had known. They were strong, clever, and fearless. When dawn broke over Nerith, the humans had stabilized part of the storm. They were exhausted, yet ready to continue. Zara realized that the message they had sent by mistake had summoned not just aid, but a force unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Humanity had arrived, not just to help, but to prove that they could face the impossible and survive. For the first time, she felt a deep respect and something new, a sense of awe. These humans were different, they were extraordinary. And Nerith's fate, at least for now, rested in their hands. The sky over Nerith was still alive with energy, though the worst of the storm had been temporarily held at bay. Clouds of green and purple twisted together as bolts of lightning streaked through the atmosphere. On the ground, Korathi citizens watched from their floating cities, unsure whether to celebrate or panic. Commander Daniel Hayes stood with Claire Foster and Liam Bennett near one of the crystal towers. The humans had stabilized part of the storm, but they knew the threat was far from over. This planet was alive with energy, more intense than any storm they had faced before, and it seemed almost conscious in its chaos. "We need more data," Daniel said, scanning the instruments. "This storm is adapting. Every time we try to control one core, another flares up somewhere else." Claire adjusted her controls, her brow furrowed. "It's like it's alive. I've never seen anything move so fast, so unpredictably." Liam added, "If we don't get the fleet in position soon, stabilizing it piece by piece will take too long. Nurith cities might not survive that long." Back in orbit, the rest of the human fleet was arriving. Hundreds of vessels moved with precision, spreading out across the planet in perfect formation. There were scout ships, repair units, and heavy energy carriers. The humans were prepared for battle, but this was a battle of science and speed, not guns. Admiral Grace Thompson observed the operation from the command ship Endeavour. She had seen many emergencies on Earth, even natural disasters on other planets, but nothing like this. The scale of the storm was enormous, yet humans were handling it calmly. "They adapt faster than I expected," she said to her aide. "They are learning the storm patterns in real time, adjusting faster than any program could." Meanwhile, Zara watched from one of the floating cities. She had been following Daniel closely. His focus, his calm, and his way of working with her people were remarkable. She had seen many species in the galaxy, some stronger, some smarter, some faster, but never one that combined all three so naturally. "They are incredible," she whispered to Rylan. "They do not panic. They do not hesitate, they just act." Rylan shook his head. "I have never seen anything like them, and yet they are humans. How can a species like this exist?" Daniel and his team began deploying drones and automated devices to stabilize the storm. Small floating units moved into the worst parts of the storm, absorbing energy, redirecting it into safe channels, or dispersing it over the oceans. The Korathi had never seen this kind of technology in action. "You control machines with your mind?" asked Zara, amazed. Daniel laughed lightly. "No, just programming and careful control, but we can adapt the machines quickly. If something changes, we change faster than the storm does." The Korathi observed, stunned, as the drones moved like living creatures, weaving through the storm without breaking formation. Each unit took on lightning strikes, diverted energy spikes, and kept the floating cities from collapsing. Then came the real test. The storm flared again, this time more violently than before. A massive surge of energy struck near one of the largest cities, sending sparks and electrical arcs shooting across the buildings. Citizens screamed and scrambled to safety, but the humans moved without hesitation. Claire piloted one of the scout drones directly into the surge. She adjusted its shields in real time as it absorbed the energy and rerouted it safely into a nearby crystal tower. The Korathi watched with wide eyes. Their entire species had relied on fragile energy nets and careful planning, but humans acted instinctively, solving problems no one had ever considered. Zara felt a mix of awe and disbelief. "They are saving our cities," she said. "They are not even from here, and yet they understand everything we could never manage alone." Daniel noticed her watching and nodded. "We're here to help. That's all that matters. Let's focus on the next surge." Hours passed, and the storm continued to rage. But the humans did not tire. Daniel rotated his team in shifts, ensuring that each member stayed alert. Even when exhaustion threatened to slow them down, they pushed forward, adapting and improvising. The Korathi began to take notes, trying to understand the humans' methods. Their delicate technology had been built for precision, but humans combined precision with speed and improvisation in a way no one had imagined. Each new move the humans made seemed almost instinctive, yet it solved problems faster than any algorithm or manual plan could. Rylan whispered to Zara, "We could never have done this ourselves, not in 1,000 cycles." Zara nodded. "I know, and yet they are helping us without asking for anything in return. They do not seem afraid of the storm or our world or even us." Daniel noticed the storm was concentrating in one final area, near the central energy core that powered the largest city. If it was not controlled, the entire city would collapse, taking hundreds of thousands of lives. "This is it," he said to Claire and Liam. "We handle the core and the rest will stabilize." The humans moved into position. Drones flew toward the heart of the storm, shields glowing as they absorbed the massive energy bursts. Daniel directed the team, adjusting drones in real time, rerouting excess energy and preventing overloads. The Korathi watched in awe as humans worked seamlessly together. Unlike any other species they had seen, humans seemed to thrive in the chaos. Each human knew their role, but they also adapted to every new challenge instantly. The storm itself seemed to recognize that it could not win. Hours passed in this tense dance. Lightning struck, clouds twisted violently, and yet the humans pressed on, their determination never faltering. Finally, with one coordinated maneuver, the storm began to break apart. The energy cores stabilized, and the massive clouds dissipated into harmless streaks. Zara could hardly believe her eyes. The humans had done what she thought was impossible. The floating cities were safe, the energy cores intact, and the citizens were alive. She turned to Daniel, eyes wide. You have saved us," she said softly. "I have never seen a species work like this. You are extraordinary." Daniel smiled, exhausted but satisfied. "We just did what we had to do. You called for help and we answered, that's all." Ryland shook his head in disbelief. "Extraordinary, that is not even enough to describe it. They are more than any of us expected." News of the humans' success spread quickly across Nerith. Citizens cheered, and the council began to realize the true scale of what had happened. Not only had the humans arrived by mistake, but they had also performed a rescue operation that no other species could have managed. Mael, the council leader, floated above the assembly floor, his voice full of wonder. "These humans, they are not like any species we have known. They act with speed, intelligence, and courage beyond imagination. Nerith owes them its survival." Zara nodded. "It is true. We called for aid, and instead we received something far greater. These humans, they are remarkable. They are capable of things we cannot even imagine." Daniel and his team spent the next few hours helping the Korathi rebuild damaged structures, reinforcing energy grids, and ensuring that the remaining storm energy dissipated safely. The humans worked tirelessly, but their efficiency amazed the Korathi even more. By the end of the day, Nerith was no longer in immediate danger. The storm had been stabilized, the cities repaired, and the citizens safe. The humans had arrived unexpectedly, faced a threat the Korathi could not handle, and had succeeded where every other species would have failed. As night fell over Nerith, the humans gathered near their ships. Daniel looked at the purple and green sky, now calm but still beautiful. He knew that this was only the beginning. Humans had proven their strength, their adaptability, and their courage. But the galaxy was vast, and challenges far greater than this storm awaited. Zara approached him, her 4 eyes reflecting the faint glow of the stars. "Commander Daniel, humans are truly extraordinary. I did not expect this. I thought we were calling for aid, and instead we received hope." Daniel nodded humbly. "We're just humans. We do what we can. But sometimes, doing what you can is enough to change everything." The Korathi looked on in amazement. In just one day, humanity had shown them that they were a species unlike any other. They were strong, brave, and smart in ways the galaxy had never seen. And the storm that had threatened to destroy Nerith now seemed almost like a distant memory, a reminder of what humans could accomplish when they acted together. As the humans prepared to rest and plan for the next challenge, Zara realized something important. Humanity was not just another species. They were a force that could face the impossible, overcome it, and protect those in need. And Nerith would never forget that day, the day humans arrived by mistake, and in doing so, saved a world. The sky over Nerith had calmed, but the energy from the storm still pulsed faintly across the planet. Floating cities glimmered like jewels, and the citizens moved carefully, still cautious after the day's events. Humans and Korathi walked together through the central city, observing the damage and planning the next steps. Commander Daniel Hayes led the human team, accompanied by Claire Foster and Liam Bennett. Zara and Ryland guided them through the wide streets and hovering walkways of the city. Humans were fascinated by the architecture. Towers made of crystal grew naturally from the ground, their surfaces glowing softly. Bridges connected them, suspended by energy currents that humans had never seen before. "This is incredible," Claire said, her eyes wide. "It's like the city is alive." Zara smiled faintly. "It is alive in a way. Our technology grows with the city. Every crystal, every energy flow is part of the system. It senses what we need." Daniel nodded. We'll need to study it carefully. If the storm returns, we need to know how to work with your systems, not against them. Rylan led them to the main energy hub of the city, a massive structure made of glowing crystals arranged in rings around a central tower. The humans studied it with their instruments, scanning energy flows and measuring power surges. "This is more complex than anything we've ever seen," Liam said, his voice full of awe. "But I think we can interface with it. We just need to understand the logic first." The Korathi were watching, fascinated. Humans were different from any species they had known. They did not fear the unknown. They adapted, learned quickly, and applied their knowledge immediately. Even now, Daniel and his team worked carefully but confidently, analyzing the alien energy systems with tools the Korathi could barely understand. Zara spoke softly. "I have studied this system for years, but they understand it faster than I could ever teach." Rylan nodded. "It is almost as if they can see the flow of energy in their minds, and yet they are humans." Daniel noticed the Korathi watching him. "We just look for patterns and test them," he said. "It's about observation and adjustment. Once you see how it works, you can solve problems faster." Hours passed as the humans worked. They moved through the hub, placing sensors and drones to monitor the energy flows. When a small surge occurred, they adjusted their devices instantly, redirecting the energy safely. The Korathi could hardly keep up, but they began to see a new way to think about their own systems. "This is remarkable," Zara whispered. "They are teaching us without speaking, just by doing." Daniel noticed her watching and smiled. "We learn by doing and we teach the same way. It is the fastest way to solve a problem." As the humans continued their work, Claire noticed movement in the distance. A group of Korathi citizens had gathered, observing the humans with curiosity and caution. Some were afraid, some were amazed. Claire waved at them, smiling. "We're here to help," she said. "We don't want to hurt anyone." The crowd relaxed slightly, though they remained cautious. Humans had saved the city once already, and their calm confidence inspired trust. One of the older Korathi stepped forward, bowing slightly. "You have saved our home, humans. We are grateful, but our knowledge of these systems is limited. Perhaps you can help us improve them." Daniel nodded. "That is what we are here for. We want to help, and if we learn from you, everyone benefits." Zara led the humans to another section of the city where the storm had caused minor damage. Crystals had cracked, and energy flows were unstable. Humans examined the broken structures and quickly devised a repair plan. Drones and small robotic units worked alongside Korathi engineers, fixing the crystals and stabilizing the energy currents. "What amazes me," Liam said, "is how fast humans adapt to new technology. We had no experience with this system, and yet we are already making improvements." Zara watched, fascinated. "Your species, you are clever, fast, and fearless. You do not hesitate even when faced with the unknown." Daniel looked at her seriously. "We survive by adapting. If we see a problem, we act. Fear slows us down. Confidence, knowledge, and teamwork, those are what keep us alive." By the evening, most of the city had been stabilized. The citizens walked among the humans, observing their work and asking questions. Humans answered patiently, explaining their actions in simple terms. The Korathi were learning quickly, and some began to imitate the humans' techniques. In the central square, a young Korathi approached Daniel. Her eyes were wide with curiosity. "Commander, why do your people work so quickly? Most species would have been afraid, paralyzed by the storm." Daniel smiled gently. "We do not ignore fear, we feel it, but we do not let it stop us. We act even when we do not know the outcome. That is how we survive." The young Korathi nodded slowly, thinking carefully. "I have never seen this, courage combined with intelligence. Most species choose one or the other. You have both." Claire pointed toward a section of the city that still showed minor instability. "We should check that next. If one small failure occurs, it could spread. We want everything secure." Zara led the humans through narrow streets and over hovering walkways. She noticed that the humans observed every detail, noting energy shifts and minor fluctuations that even the Korathi had overlooked. Their awareness was astonishing. When they reached the unstable section, Daniel directed the drones to begin repairs. The humans worked with a calm precision that left the Korathi amazed. Every action had a purpose, every decision immediate and effective. The storm had been only the first challenge, and yet humans acted as if they were born to handle even the most dangerous situations. Rylan turned to Zara quietly. "They are more than we imagined. Their minds work differently. They solve problems faster than any algorithm we have, faster than we could imagine. Zara nodded. And yet they do it without arrogance. They help because it is the right thing, not for power or recognition. Night fell and the city glowed with the light of repaired energy systems. Humans had worked tirelessly, but the Korathi were impressed by their stamina and determination. Daniel gathered his team near one of the large towers. "Good work today," he said. "The city is stable and the citizens are safe, but we should rest now. Tomorrow we can continue our improvements and learn more about your systems." Claire yawned, stretching slightly. "It feels strange to sleep after everything we've done, but I suppose even humans need rest." Liam nodded. "Rest now, act stronger tomorrow, that's the human way." Zara watched them, her 4 eyes reflecting both curiosity and respect. "I do not understand everything about humans. They are unpredictable yet controlled, bold yet careful, strong yet compassionate." Daniel noticed her words. "That is humanity. We survive by acting, learning, and helping each other. It is simple, but it works." Rylan, who had been silent, finally spoke. "It works better than anything we could have imagined. If these humans were part of our species, perhaps the storm would never have happened at all." Zara smiled faintly. "Perhaps, but even more, they are teaching us a new way to think, a new way to act, and that may be more valuable than saving the city itself." As the humans prepared to rest in their temporary quarters, they continued to plan for the next steps. Daniel knew that Nurith was a fragile world, full of energy and life unlike anything on Earth. Humans had proven themselves capable, but they were still learning. There were still unknown dangers, and the planet itself seemed almost alive with energy. The Korathi, meanwhile, had begun to see the humans in a new light. They were no longer just strange creatures from another world. They were saviors, teachers, and a force unlike any the galaxy had known. Even the most skeptical council members admitted quietly to themselves that humanity was extraordinary. By the time the first night on Nurith ended, humans and Korathi had begun a quiet partnership. Humans had stabilized the city, repaired damages, and proven their courage. The Korathi had learned new methods of thinking and working. Together, they had faced a storm that could have destroyed everything. And for the first time, Zara felt a deep certainty. Humanity was not just another species. They were special. They could face the impossible, adapt to any challenge, and help those in need with a strength that no other species could match. As she watched the humans resting for the night, she knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and challenges far greater than this storm waited. But with humans involved, Nurith, and perhaps many other worlds, stood a chance to survive and thrive. Daniel, lying in his small bunk, looked out at the city from the window of the human quarters. The glow of Nurith's energy systems filled the night sky. He knew that humans were far from perfect, but they were capable. And when humans were capable, they could change everything. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight, the humans had shown the Korathi, and perhaps themselves, what they were truly capable of. And the Korathi would never forget the day humanity arrived, not by choice but by fate, and became the force that saved a world. The morning on Nurith was quiet, almost peaceful. The storm that had threatened the cities days before was gone, leaving behind calm skies and a soft glow across the floating towers. Humans and Korathi worked together to repair minor damages and strengthen the energy grids, ensuring that the city would withstand any sudden surges. Commander Daniel Hayes and his team were in the central hub, reviewing the city's energy systems. Drones floated beside them, scanning for weak points. Claire Foster adjusted the shields on one of the drones while Liam Bennett monitored energy flows. "We've done well so far," Daniel said, his voice steady. "But we can't be overconfident. Nurith is full of energy. One mistake, one miscalculation, and the storm, or something worse, could return." Zara hovered near him, her eyes wide. "Your people are amazing. You do not hesitate, even when the dangers are unknown. I have never seen a species like this." Daniel shook his head. "We're not perfect. We just act and we adapt. That is what keeps us alive." As they worked, Rylan appeared on the edge of the hub, his expression serious. "Commander Hayes, we have detected an anomaly outside the city. It is moving fast and it is not natural." "You should see this," Daniel frowned. "What kind of anomaly?" Rylan gestured to the large holographic screen. A massive object was moving through the upper atmosphere of Nurith. It was unlike anything the Korathi had recorded. Its shape shifted as it moved, and its energy signature was powerful and unstable. Liam leaned closer to the screen. That doesn't look like a storm. That looks alive, or at least controlled by something intelligent. Zara's 4 eyes widened. I have never seen anything like this. It is not part of the planet's natural energy systems. It may be a predator or a weapon. Daniel straightened. We need to intercept it before it reaches the city. Claire, prepare the scout drones. Liam, keep monitoring its energy signature. Rylan, guide us with your knowledge of the atmosphere. Claire nodded, moving quickly. Drones are ready. Let's see what we're dealing with. The anomaly moved faster than any natural object. It left trails of crackling energy behind it, and the atmosphere around it shimmered. As the humans and Korathi watched, the object descended toward a smaller floating city on the outskirts. Commander, Zara said, panic in her voice, it is heading straight for the city. Thousands could die if it hits. Daniel's jaw tightened. Then we stop it. The human drones flew toward the anomaly, weaving through energy currents with precision. The Korathi watched in amazement as humans coordinated their efforts, anticipating the anomaly's movement and adjusting strategies in real time. Liam monitored the energy readings. It's powerful. The drones' shields are barely holding. Whatever this is, it's not just strong, it's intelligent. It reacts to every move we make. Daniel nodded. Then we need to outthink it, not overpower it, use their energy against them, guide the anomaly away from the city. Zara and Rylan observed, wide-eyed. The humans moved like a single organism, thinking and acting together. They were fast, adaptive, and fearless. Each adjustment, each calculation was precise. The anomaly turned sharply, striking one of the drones. Sparks flew as the machine's shields failed, but Daniel anticipated the movement and redirected 2 other drones to block the energy discharge. The humans acted with incredible coordination, saving both the drone and the city below. Commander, Liam said, it's heading for the central energy tower. If it hits that, the city will collapse. Daniel took a deep breath. Then we intercept it ourselves. Claire, take me close. I need a direct view. Claire piloted her craft with incredible skill, weaving through the energy currents. Daniel looked out, analyzing the anomaly's patterns. It moved like it had a mind of its own, shifting unpredictably and attacking anything in its path. But Daniel noticed something, a rhythm subtle but consistent. I see it, he said. It has a pattern, not obvious, but it is predictable if we move the right way. Claire nodded. I'll follow your lead. Daniel directed the scout drones, guiding them to create a barrier of energy interference. The anomaly struck the barrier and faltered, but it was still dangerous. Humans acted quickly, repositioning drones and using energy currents to redirect its movement away from the central city. Zara could hardly believe her eyes. They are controlling the storm, no, controlling the creature with their machines. How is this possible? Daniel's voice was calm, focused. We adapt, Zara. We watch, we learn, and we act. That is all humans do. The anomaly struggled against the barrier, but humans were relentless. Claire piloted the drones with precision, Daniel directed each move, and Liam monitored the energy flows. Slowly, they guided the anomaly toward a distant plateau far from the city. When it was clear of the floating towers, Daniel and Claire coordinated a final maneuver. The drones created a containment field, trapping the anomaly and stabilizing its energy. It writhed and pulsed, but it could no longer harm the city. Zara and Rylan hovered nearby, shocked and amazed. It is contained, Zara said. Your people, they can face anything and adapt immediately. I have never seen a species like this in my life. Daniel shook his head. We're just humans. We act, we adapt, we solve problems. The Korathi citizens, who had watched from a safe distance, began to cheer. Humans had not only stabilized the city, they had faced a dangerous, unknown threat and won. Their courage, intelligence, and quick thinking had saved thousands of lives. Mael, the council leader, floated above the assembly, his voice full of awe. These humans, they are extraordinary. They do not fear danger. They think faster than any machine. They act with purpose and precision. They are unmatched. Zara nodded. It is true. Humans are capable of things we cannot imagine. They are not just strong, they are clever, fearless, and determined. Daniel and his team helped the Korathi examine the anomaly. It was unlike any natural creature or machine the aliens had seen. Its energy signature was complex, intelligent, and adaptive. Humans studied it carefully, noting its weaknesses and patterns. We need to understand this fully, Daniel said. If anything like this happens again, we must be ready. Knowledge is our best weapon. The Korathi watched as humans worked. They were fast, patient, and thorough. Even in the face of danger, humans remained calm and focused. They analyzed, adapted, and found solutions no other species could achieve. Zara felt a mix of awe and respect. Your people, you are more than saviors. You are teachers, thinkers, and problem solvers. I do not know any species that could do what you have done. Rylan nodded. It is true, the storm was dangerous, but this was beyond anything we feared, and yet humans faced it without hesitation. Daniel looked at them quietly. We act because we must. We survive because we adapt. That is all humans do. It may seem extraordinary to others, but for us, it is normal. By evening, the anomaly was studied and its energy carefully neutralized. The humans had prevented disaster, stabilized the city, and ensured that Nurith remained safe. Their presence had not only protected the Korathi, but had also taught them new ways to think about energy, adaptation, and problem-solving. As the sun set over Nurith, the floating cities glowed with soft light. Humans and Korathi gathered to celebrate the success of the day. The citizens cheered for the humans, acknowledging their bravery, skill, and intelligence. Zara approached Daniel quietly. Commander, I have watched many species in my studies. I have never seen one like yours. Humans, you are not just capable, you are remarkable. Daniel smiled gently. We do what we can, we act, we adapt, we help. That is all we know. Rylan added softly, and yet that is enough to change everything. You have saved lives, taught new ways to think, and proven that humans are extraordinary. Claire, tired but smiling, looked at the city. It feels strange to be seen as heroes. We just did what we had to do. Daniel nodded. Sometimes doing what you have to do is more than enough. It can inspire others, change worlds, and save lives. The Korathi had begun to understand a new truth about humans. They were not just another species. They were problem solvers, innovators, and fearless protectors. They faced the impossible, adapted instantly, and overcame threats no other species could. As night fell, Daniel and his team prepared to rest, but their minds were already planning for the challenges ahead. Nurith was fragile and the galaxy was vast. Humans had proven their strength, but this was only the beginning. The Korathi, meanwhile, looked at the humans with newfound respect. They had called for aid by mistake, but in doing so they had discovered a species unlike any other, a species capable of facing the unknown, adapting instantly, and protecting those in need. And as Daniel gazed at the calm sky, he knew that humanity's journey was just beginning. There were greater challenges ahead, more threats to face, and countless opportunities to prove that humans were a force unlike any other in the galaxy. Tonight, Nurith was safe, but tomorrow the humans would face new tests. And when they did, they would show once again why humanity could survive, adapt, and triumph where others might fail. The morning sun of Nurith shone gently over the floating cities. The sky was clear, and the air hummed with a calm energy. Humans and Korathi moved through the streets together, checking on repairs and ensuring that all systems were stable. The energy storm and the anomaly had passed, leaving a world grateful, alive, and safe. Commander Daniel Hayes walked with Claire Foster and Liam Bennett through the central plaza. Citizens were already beginning to gather, curious and eager to see the humans who had saved their cities. Humans had acted without fear, adapting to unknown dangers, and now they were being recognized in ways no human had expected. Zara hovered nearby, her 4 eyes scanning the plaza. She had been with the humans since their arrival, observing their actions, learning from them, and growing to trust them. They have done more than we ever expected, she whispered to Rylan. They do not only save lives, they inspire us. Rylan nodded. I agree. Every move they make is precise, thoughtful, and fearless. And yet they are ordinary humans. How is it possible for your species to be so extraordinary? Daniel overheard her and smiled lightly. We do not think about being extraordinary. We do what we have to do. That is all. As they approached the central energy hub, the Council of Nurith gathered. Mael, the council leader, floated above the assembly floor. His voice was calm but carried authority. Citizens of Nurith, today we honor those who have saved our home. And not just any saviors, humans from another world have come to our aid. A murmur of excitement ran through the crowd. Humans had arrived by mistake, but their actions had saved countless lives. They had faced dangers the Korathi could not, stabilized the cities, and even contained the unknown anomaly that threatened destruction. Zara spoke next, her voice carrying quiet awe. These humans are different from any species we have known. They are clever, brave, and adaptable. They act with courage and intelligence that inspires all who witness it. Daniel stepped forward, bowing slightly to the council, though his demeanor remained humble. We only did what we could. You sent a message for help, and we answered. That is all humans can do, act, adapt, and try to help. A young Korathi in the crowd floated forward. Commander Daniel, your people have changed the way we see the world. You face danger without fear, think faster than our machines, and adapt instantly. You have taught us much without even trying. Daniel smiled. Then we have done our job. Learning from each other is the best way to survive and thrive. Zara approached him. Commander, your presence here has saved not only lives, but also our way of thinking. We have been cautious for many cycles, but your people have shown that boldness, courage, and action can change everything. You are extraordinary. Daniel shook his head. We are just humans. We do not think of ourselves as extraordinary. We do what is needed. That is all. Despite his humility, the council could see the truth. Humans were not just strong, they were a force unlike any other. They were adaptable, intelligent, and fearless. They faced the impossible and found solutions where no one else could. The citizens of Nurith approached the humans, offering thanks, gifts, and gestures of respect. Humans accepted politely, focusing on ensuring that all energy systems were stable and that citizens were safe. Their actions spoke louder than any words. Claire knelt beside a young Korathi child whose energy drone had been damaged during the anomaly. She carefully repaired it, explaining the steps in simple language so the child could understand. See, you can fix it too. Just follow the steps and it works. The child's eyes widened with excitement. I want to learn. I want to be like you. Claire smiled. You already are in your own way. Just keep trying and never be afraid to act. Liam was showing a group of Korathi engineers how to monitor energy flows more efficiently. He explained methods to predict surges, redirect energy safely, and prevent system failures. It is simple once you understand the pattern. Watch, act, and adapt. That is how humans survive. The Korathi engineers listened carefully, learning quickly. They realized that humans approach combined intelligence, observation, and courage, a method unlike anything they had ever used. Zara watched quietly, her mind full of admiration. Your species, you are incredible. You teach without arrogance. You act without fear. You inspire without seeking praise. Daniel smiled faintly. We do not act for praise. We act because it is needed. That is enough. As the day continued, humans and Korathi worked side by side, repairing minor damages, reinforcing energy grids, and studying the remaining effects of the storm. Every challenge was met with calm efficiency. Where the Korathi hesitated, humans acted. Where the Korathi were cautious, humans adapted. Their courage, intelligence, and teamwork were unmatched. By evening, the city was fully stabilized. Energy flows were secure, drones repaired, and citizens safe. Humans had not only saved Nurith from immediate threats, but had also taught the Korathi methods to prevent future disasters. Their impact was profound. Mail addressed the council and the citizens again. Today, we have seen a species unlike any other. Humans have saved our world, taught us new ways to think, and inspired courage in all of us. They have shown that even the impossible can be overcome when intelligence and courage are combined. Zara stepped forward, her voice strong. Commander Daniel and all humans here, Nurith owes you more than words can say. You are not just visitors, you are teachers, protectors, and friends. Your actions will be remembered for all cycles to come. Daniel looked at her humbly. We only did what we had to do. But if our actions inspire you, then that is the best reward we could have. The citizens of Nurith cheered, floating toward the humans with gestures of respect. Humans had arrived by mistake, but their presence had changed the course of the planet's history. They had faced storms, anomalies, and unknown dangers with calm intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Zara hovered beside Daniel. I do not know any species that could have done what your people have done. You are extraordinary not because you seek glory, but because you act when it is needed. You are humanity. Daniel nodded, looking over the city. We are capable, that is all, and sometimes being capable is enough to change everything. Rylan floated closer to Zara. I have studied many species, and I thought we knew the limits of life. But humans, they surpass every expectation. They act with speed, precision, and courage beyond comprehension. Zara turned to him. It is true, And they do it without arrogance, they only do what is needed. That is the difference. As night fell, humans prepared to return to their ships. Daniel, Claire, and Liam were tired but satisfied. They had faced unknown dangers, adapted to alien systems, and saved a world. Their actions had taught the Korathi new ways to think, act, and survive. Zara approached Daniel one last time. "Commander, your people have proven that humans are a force unlike any other. You adapt, you act, and you protect. You have saved Nerith, and in doing so you have shown that humanity is extraordinary." Daniel smiled faintly. "We are humans, we do what we can, that is all." Mail addressed the citizens and humans one last time. "Let today be remembered. Humans arrived by mistake, yet they became our saviors. They acted with courage, intelligence, and precision beyond any species we have known. Humanity is a name that will be honored on Nerith for all cycles." The citizens cheered once more, floating in the air with excitement and gratitude. Humans had not only saved their lives, but had inspired a new way of thinking. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and adaptability could overcome even the most impossible challenges. As the humans prepared to leave Nerith, Daniel looked back at the floating cities. The sky was calm, the energy systems stable, and the citizens safe. But more than that, he saw something else, the beginning of a lasting bond between humans and the Korathi. Zara and Rylan watched as the humans boarded their ships. "They are remarkable," Zara whispered. "I have never seen a species like this. Humans, they are capable of anything they set their minds to," Rylan nodded. "And they do it without seeking praise. They act because it is needed. That is what makes them extraordinary." Daniel looked out at the planet one last time. "We came here by mistake, but mistakes can lead to great things. We saved lives, learned, and taught. That is what humans do. We act, we adapt, we survive." The human ships lifted from the surface, leaving Nerith behind. The floating cities glowed in the soft light of the suns, safe and whole. The citizens waved, their eyes filled with respect, admiration, and hope. Humans had proven themselves capable beyond any measure. Zara watched silently, her heart full of awe. They arrived by mistake, and yet they became the greatest allies we have ever known. Humanity, they are truly extraordinary. As the ships disappeared into the distance, Daniel and his team reflected on what had happened. They had faced storms, anomalies, and the unknown. They had adapted, acted, and protected lives, and in doing so they had shown the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. Tonight, Nerith was safe. The Korathi had learned, been inspired, and survived. And humans, ordinary in their own world, had proven that their courage, intelligence, and adaptability could change worlds. Humanity had arrived by mistake, but it had left a legacy that would never be forgotten.